till my speaker come. I'll keep going till my speaker come. I'll keep going till my speaker come. I'll keep going till my speaker come.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these restless nights, all these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a Benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of A to Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and Rolex account or blue face. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brothers since 6th grade. G-Wagon, red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, acting like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When it down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
Come on.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? I'll keep singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till something changed inside of me. Now I'm flying over oceans. Everybody looking at me. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Full power, get louder. I'ma get strong, just watch me. Full power, get louder. I'ma get strong, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. Gonna hear my song, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. I can run this town. Somebody give me the key. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. No more doubt about me. Oh, I can run this town. Don't you know I got the Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes. And you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
presents
Rightio, welcome on in for another day, another season of ESL Challenger League. As you can see, it's a bit of a bumpy road at the moment. We did even have a forfeit yesterday for Oceania, so today is actually the first day of the broadcast. But look,
oh yeah,
that's all good. We'll get it sorted. It's Elfish Guy and Mac here, as usual, as you probably have come to expect from Oceania. And Mac, you're obviously all the way over in Europe, so a bit of an early start for you. But looking forward to catching up with what's been happening in Oceania over the past week or so.
Yeah, I'm keen to jump in and see what has been going down. As you can see, you know, there's been a lot of 2-0s. I think there was a spicy affair between Rooster and X-Talon, which did put Rooster down in the lower bracket. And then we didn't get to see X-Talon yesterday, as you mentioned. You know, Semperfi got that forfeit win to put them straight into the grand final already. So we won't even get to see what they're looking like or see what their form is like. But we do get to see a little bit of Rooster, and we'll see what they're capable of today.
Yeah. I mean, look, obviously, the way that this season has been playing out so far, I don't think any major surprises necessarily. I would look at maybe the X-Talon versus Rooster game as potentially being an upset, depending on which side of the table you kind of stand on there. But other than that, for the most part, we've kind of got the dubs coming through that we more or less expect. Mindfreak here with this kind of like new iteration roster compared to previous seasons, doing pretty well for themselves, I'd have to say, being able to get themselves into the lower bracket final, which means they've managed to take a top 4. I think that's a respectable result when you are considering we've got teams like Ground Zero, which on that graphic said House Bets. It's the former House Bets roster. We've got Ground Zero in there. That's a pretty decent roster. We've got Dog, which have got some pretty reasonable names in as well. So I think Mindfreak, you know, kind of like doing what they're expected to do, doing what they need to do. But today's match is going to be a real challenge for them, Matt, because again, you know, at the moment, domestically speaking, when we're talking about Oceania, we're talking Semperfi, we're talking X-Talon, we're talking Rooster as probably the big three. Of course, where they all sit in relation to one another is something that does obviously need to be discussed at any given time, but at least in terms of them in comparison to Mindfreak, our talent predictions will show you the way. It is very much Rooster favored in this matchup. They are the expected victor, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will be the victor. Obviously, Rooster have been a little bit up and down themselves. Mindfreak, I think, are an interesting enough team to be able to take a fight to Rooster, but yeah, I definitely think Rooster come in as the favorites.
Yeah, for me as well. I remember watching this Mindfreak team last season. Look, there's been a bit of time for them to work on things, of course. But yeah, from what we saw last time, there was some promising hope. But again, it felt like Rooster was just this team that looked like they had that much more experience. And it's generally because they've been a team that's been together for such a damn long time now. And honestly, the chaos that Terry's brought into the lineup, I've been enjoying as well.
Yeah, I think that's fun. And speaking of players that we should keep an eye on, we've chosen ASAP today. I've got the hot tip from an inside source that ASAP has a new keyboard. So I think that's a reason enough to have him be our Kadir player to watch. Obviously, on top of that as well, you know, pretty good player. So hopefully he'll be able to have a nice performance tonight. And Mac, over the last sort of couple of months, I've taken to calling ASAP the analyst. I don't know if you've ever heard that before as a concept, but I've been playing some CS here and there, and he's, you know, in the clutch, he's a bit of a thinker. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I've been thinking we should just call him the analyst, and so we'll see if he gets in any clutches today and see if he can analyze his way out of them. But otherwise, he will be our player to watch regardless. Last matchup they played, as we can see here, it was a 2-1 in the favor of Mindfreak. In the favor of Rooster over Mindfreak, I should say. And that was only maybe a couple of months ago. So, you know, looking back pretty recently, I would say, again, I think we're probably leaning towards a 2-0 or a 2-1 here in the favor of Rooster. I'd like to think it will be a 2-0 for Rooster. I think there's just a lot more experience on that roster. They've got a lot of individuals that should be able to get over the line. But, you know, what happens with Rooster sometimes is they just kind of come in and play their B game, and at that point, you know, that becomes winnable for Mindfreak. So let's see what we're going to get out of them today. But yeah, very much expecting that Rooster should do well, and hopefully ASAP will as well.
Yeah, I'm keen to see, you know, what we get from both teams. As long as we get the game, it seems like we should be, though. You know, I'm excited to see a bit of Counter-Strike after getting excited for yesterday and then being let down by no Counter-Strike. Something else I just want to quickly touch on that I'm excited about, at least for the O scene, is Ground Zero's back. You know, they sort of disappeared from the Counter-Strike scene for a little bit, you know, but look, they're back and they're kicking and picked up house bets. So keen to see what, you know, that team is going to be able to do, you know, with obviously they had the org support before with house bets, but this is more of a homegrown org support, and I feel like that might help out somewhat more.
Yeah, I talked about this on the podcast, Mac, and I don't know that we ever really got to find out why Ground Zero picked this team up. Like, I think looking at it, you kind of go, well, why have they re-entered a team? Yeah, like but why? You know, what's the reason? You know, do they want to just support an Australian team? That's kind of like where I ended up with my like analysis of it. It was like, I don't think that there's any reason really beyond we just want to have a CS team. We want to support an Australian CS team, because that would be, you know, I think financially speaking, quite an interesting decision. I don't know that they're necessarily going to be getting a lot out of it financially. So I think it's just more of a altruistic reason, I would like to think, from Ground Zero. But hey, maybe there's some Ground Zero staff in the chat or around the place that can inform us on that one. It's a conversation for another day, of course, as we do need to home back in on this one. We've got Dust 2, Train, and then Nuke. So Train coming through for Rooster. A little bit of an interesting one. They have been one of those teams that has been picking up Train a little bit more domestically speaking. They're going to force Mindfreak to now play their first official on Train. I think it's nice to have a team or two that are like angling towards the you know, the newer maps in the pool. Obviously not Overpass in this particular game, in this particular sense, but you know, at least forces a couple of the other teams to have to actually play a bit of Train, and so we don't get those usual like boring vetoes where it's just like Dust 2, Mirage, Inferno all the time. So I do like this from Rooster. I don't see a huge amount of Train in Oceania, so I think if you become like the Train team, you put yourself in a good spot in these vetoes, and obviously that's, I think, what Rooster's trying to do.
Well, they've got the Train team, but surely they're going to be the Overpass team, or one of the Overpass teams as well, right? Like, I swear, a lot of the players in the top teams in OCE at the moment have historically played Overpass. You know, I'm thinking like Mad Like Wizards back in the day causing upsets on Overpass. And, you know, that there's a lot of players as well who were on Vertex who are still sort of hanging around, and they were a team that loved a bit of Overpass. So, yeah, there's a lot of players towards that top end that should be showing some kind of Overpass, which makes me sad that Mindfreak have decided to veto it, but I guess it makes sense. You know, if they're not playing it and they know that it's probably going to be one of those strong picks for Rooster, you want to get it out of the mix. So not going to be seeing that today. I'm still all Overpass oriented, you know. I just want to see as much as possible, you know, while it's back in the pool before any weird, chaotic, frantic changes start to come through. But alas, you know, D2 is still going to be a pretty good place for Rooster, as well as Mindfreak, to show us what they're capable of. They've come pretty deep so far here in the playoffs. And look, if they manage to take Rooster out of the tournament, that's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, yeah, I think Mindfreak have kind of hit the expectation, and anywhere beyond this is an improvement. Honestly, I don't even know, like, would we have tipped Mindfreak to be a top 4 team with the roster that they've got? Maybe not. Maybe I probably would have given the benefit of the doubt to Ground Zero, but I think in the end Ground Zero just sort of got a little bit wrecked by the bracket. I mean, they did lose to Mindfreak in the opening game, so, you know, they only really have themselves to blame. If they wanted to go a little bit deeper, they should have beat Mindfreak. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a little bit of a surprise to me. I know a couple of these Mindfreak players have got a little bit of experience. I mean, even Swerzian now is like kind of starting to become a bit more of a known quantity, but Cairo and Zune in particular, I think are still fairly fresh. So, you know, I don't know. Whatever they're doing there in Mindfreak, it seems to be doing pretty well for themselves. And I'm kind of at that point now where, again, like, I'm quite interested to see what this team actually looks like, because I think I did get to watch them once or twice when they first put this roster together, and I was like, well, that's not really much of a roster, to be honest. Like, it's not necessarily done anything to get me too excited. And this was a couple of months ago sort of thing. But now, you know, it's been, 2-3 months for this roster, this lineup, and so we'll get to see exactly how much work they've been putting in and what that actually ends up looking like.
Yeah. I remember I was pleasantly surprised by Mindfreak, and just looking back at their recent games as well, they managed to arguably dumpster Ground Zero. What was it, 13-8 on Nuke, and then 13-4 on Dust 2. So doing pretty good so far in the playoffs, and then up against Dog, who is a lovely mix of gentlemen. they managed to make arguably, I wouldn't say as light work, but yeah, it was a closer game, but still they managed to get that one across the line. So their path through the teams in playoffs hasn't been the hardest for the games that they've won, but they also did get thrown around a little bit by Semperfi. So yeah, let's see what they're capable of today. We know that a team like Rooster, they can be shaky. They can be shaky at times, when the chaos is there. Maybe someone's a little angry. Maybe someone's had a bad day. You never know. But I've got high hopes. I've still got high hopes that Rooster should be coming through with a relatively easy dub in this series.
Yeah. For those that are wondering, we are just waiting for one last player to get themselves sorted in the server. That's why you're just listening to us yap. Should be underway fairly shortly for this matchup.
To start
also,
the game.
Something to note, I guess, that we haven't talked about yet was, I think maybe did you mention yesterday, the forfeit between Semperfi and X-Talon does put X-Talon down in that consolidation final. So winner of this game will play X-Talon. That will be tomorrow at the same time as this one. And then winner of that will play Semperfi on Friday in the grand final. Interesting format here for all of ESL Challenger this year, or this season, I suppose. I would suggest, because based on the format, if you recall, Mac, there was I suppose a rule in there, I guess, where if a team wins, I think it's all 4 of the cups, then the final qualifier portion doesn't actually need to get played, because there's no teams that get seeded into that 4-team bracket, right? If all 4 tournaments were, all 4 qualifying tournaments were won by one team. I think there's actually a possibility that we may get that in Oceania. It kind of depends on how Semperfi is looking, but the way that OCE has played out over the last 6 months, it kind of has been Semperfi kind of just winning everything. So you do sort of need one of these Rooster or X-Talon teams to kind of step up and find a way to get themselves a win somewhere. Otherwise, we're not going to get a couple of extra matches in Oceania, which will be a little bit sad.
Yeah, I feel like, we want to get as many as possible, especially on broadcast, on the old mainstream. And hey, we're getting that. We're getting that right now. Game's live. All 10 players have joined us, and it looks like we are going to be seeing Mindfreak set their sights on the A site early on here. Slimy with the P2K, going to be flashed off. Respecting the long pump.
Well, it's not just going to be a little bit of a jiggle wiggle out on long. It's actually going to be the full commitment. Smoke's going to come through into CT spawn here. And flashes over the top. Pretty standard stuff, really, from Mindfreak. Slimy sticks around a little bit too long and does get taken down by Swerzian there in CT spawn. So that's already a bit of a mishap for Rooster. ASAP's going to be caught up, trying to deal with the lurk from Zune. And this round looking pretty good so far from Mindfreak. I think a lot of this now will just come down to whether or not Rooster can hit some shots back in on the entry. But 5-on-3, you'd think is probably going to be pretty unlikely. This is TJP, by the way, getting his head knocked off by Crunchy. And it's all onto ASAP solo with the dualies. He does not have time to win this round, even if there's a defuse kit somewhere ahead for him, which I think there might have been. It's an unlikely prospect. So pistol round's going to go the way of Mindfreak. And ASAP on 1 HP now. Likely to be going down as that bomb explodes. Doesn't quite get out in time. So the dualies won't even go through. And a pretty comfortable pistol round win for Mindfreak. It was quite a nice start.
Yeah, not bad at all. You will take it if you're a bloody Mindfreak fan. And on that T-pistol as well, that's going to set them up for a relatively solid second round. You can see Chell's already instantly gone into that scout. Hoping to get a couple of cheeky tags through mid doors. All 5 Rooster members sending it this direction, and they should be seen by, I think it's Swerzy in there towards the, Zune, sorry, towards top mid. But that's going to be mid pressure, and with the lowest control, the Crunch should be able to wrangle this round back easily. I say that, but out of nowhere, you've got that scout finding one on a Crunchy. Galil retrieved.
Not for long.
Oh. Nice timing there.
Nice try from the analyst. ASAP He's working hard this game so far, Mac. He's the only one actually doing anything on Rooster. There we go. Finally, something a little bit more from Chell. 2-0 the score, though. You know, you can tell he's really thinking about the game, right? He wants that Khalil. He wants to take that through. He's analysing the economic situation for Rooster. Shout out to ASAP one time.
Yeah.
Be a player to watch.
I have heard he's, you know, a bit of an analyzer at some points in his life. But good to see that he's bringing that into the Counter-Strike as well. Into the third, though. Rooster back on to the Schweppens. M4s all across the board. Just that famous for Chell. And 3-1-1 split coming through. Looking for that short control, heavy presence at A, but Crunchy going straight out with the bangers. Oh, and almost able to find all three. He will. Lord have mercy. Mindfreak, they are running their way through Rooster at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really good enough from Rooster, is it? You're going to have 3 players set up over on A long, and it's 2 from Mindfreak trying to bust their way out, and they trade 3 for 1. Rooster going to have a look at that one and figure out what went wrong. Maybe a couple of players getting caught by some of those flashes over the top. Don't really know, but yeah, that's not ideal at all for Rooster. Misery777, aka TJP, TPG. Either way, he's got himself a somewhat equalizing kill, but he's not prepared for Crunchy, who's lurked all the way up onto the A side. And again, the analyst, he's been thinking, mate. He's thinking, maybe they're going to go B, and I can get myself a freebie. So in the clutch, using that big brain of his, ASAP has brought it back to a 2-on-1. Bomb in transition over to A, and he's also kind of ahead of that play. He's aware that that'll be where Mindfreak are going to be headed. He knows they have the A site control. They're not going to challenge him over at B, but it's a very clutchable round, actually, for ASAP.
Yeah, good position to potentially get that done. Timing's good. Crunchy low out in the open on ramp. There's that one bullet he needed, and spots that final man.
Ooh. Yeah, the kill on the Crunchy was an easy one. He was low, but Zune full HP here. Now, it does have the advantage of the M4 versus the Galil, but he's going to have to pick the pace up pretty shortly. That incend could be quite nice if he bounces it off the back wall, but he's actually got no idea, it seems like, exactly where Zune has ended up. So he's going to look for him. This is where it's going to start to get awkward, because he's going to want to pull out util. He's going to want to put a smoke on that bomb. And the timing, perfect from Zune. Mindfreak will get themselves a 3rd round on the board. Nice try from ASAP.
Maybe a bit of over-analysis coming through there from him this time.
Yeah, just needed to get that molly out, toss it in, see what happened.
That timing couldn't have been more awkward as well.
I think just well played by Zune, really. You know, he knows he doesn't have to do anything. ASAP's making a bit of noise, jostling around. Takes the peek. At the right timing. This time, Mindfreak allowed out long. It's going to be a late take from Rooster. There's a pop flash through. But Slimy with only a deagle in hand is unlikely to be getting too much work done. And once again, Mindfreak just finding this long control very easily.
Working out for them round after round. Crunchy. Looks like he has been hitting the old aim prac as expected. Coming through with a beautiful couple of entries in the last few rounds to set Mindfreak up to a very good position. 4 alive at the end of this one would be phenomenal for that economy going forward for Mindfreak. You can see, you know, with those close couple of rounds so far, that there's not a lot of money left in the bank, and we might just see the old gentleman's agreement for the rest of this one.
Yeah, hasn't really looked very impressive today from Rooster so far, has it? I don't really feel like they've been in this contest. Slimy and Terry 0-4. TJP and Chell, for the most part, not really having any impact with the kills that they're getting. So it has been pretty tough going, which, you know, is a little bit of a surprise, because Dust 2 is a map that Rooster plays reasonably often. And I say reasonably often, I mean, that's kind of capped, because there's no such thing as reasonably often in Oceanic Counter-Strike anymore. But of the map pool, it's one of the maps that they do play here and there. But yeah, just not coming together at the moment. Mindfreak looking pretty well drilled on these takes. They've tested A long a couple times, so now they're going to look to try and test upper tunnels. They might not quite test the B bomb side here, but they'll at least show some presence outside of B. See if those B defenders have something to think about now.
Focus turned back towards mid. Bucks. They get flashed up short in just a moment. Just holding and waiting for Rooster to try and show where they're playing from. Smoke on short. Signals that Rooster are probably just set up on site over towards long, and Tux. He's got info.
This is crazy.
I think this is just
he
a read.
decided to do this.
Yeah. Must just be off of all demos. Didn't spot the man at long, but we'll get a freebie.
That's crazy.
That's, yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Mate, you're talking about ASAP being the analyzer. I think we found the real one.
Yeah, shout out to Tux one time. That was beautiful. Like, you could not have asked for a better round. Just walks through the short smoke. And Rooster have no idea. I think you're 100% on the money there, by the way, that has to be some kind of read. He has to have seen something from Rooster on Dustu in the past, where if they throw a short smoke, you know, that setup is going to be a player watching long and maybe a player sort of floating around in CT, because it seemed like he knew exactly where those two players were going to be. So maybe Rooster getting a little bit too readable on this CT side. And Mindfreak definitely punishing them for it. Rooster will try to hold on to a couple of guns, which it looks like they'll be successful in. Maybe Slimy goes down here. The B players should be okay.
All right, 2 weapons saved for Rooster in the previous 3 now, so that'll set themselves up in a position to get yet another. Couple of exits, but so far so good for Mindfreak. Look at that, 5-0. Starting off with a lovely streak of T rounds, and all of the praises we were singing for Rooster. I guess yet to be shown why we were yapping so much about him.
Yeah, definitely not worth having a conversation about Rooster at the moment, because they are just not showing us anything on this CT side. But they're going to start to take some risks of their own. Siamese walked through the long door smoke into bedroom. So he's got a bit of forward information, which means the couple of other extra A players now don't have to worry about long anymore, even despite the fact that there's a prog smoke out there from Mindfreak. So this round looking a little bit better from Rooster, just in terms of the fact that there's no real egregious holes in the defense here. Molly will start to cause some problems for Slimy, locking him into bedroom for the moment. Kyra's not interested in taking that fight, so a bit of a slower approach here from Mindfreak. This kind of feels like the first round that actually might be winnable for Rooster, apart from maybe the pistol. I suppose there was ASAP's clutch too, but even that was a disadvantage.
Slimy making a move out long doors. And I don't think he'll get to the flank in time, but he should get the info as long as TJ can live here in CT, which he will, thanks to the helping hand from Slimy at top mid, from Chell over towards A. But the B site now under fire, and Terry, lovely work. Holds on for long enough for the rotates to come through. And you were on the money. It is Rooster's first round.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of Counter-Strike in my time, Mac.
Yeah.
And I feel like you get to the point where you look at the map and you go, that round's winnable. Well, that round's not winnable. Pretty comfortably after 10 years of watching the game. I find it's a very formulaic game. Obviously, there's like clutch factors and that kind of thing. Like anything can happen. But if you look at it and you go, well, X and Y should happen. And if X and Y does happen, then that will happen. It becomes a bit readable, the game. Let's see how this one shapes up, whether or not Rooster are going to play it well. That's a interesting CT smoke that seems to have gone a little bit deep, unless the mini-map's displaying it incorrectly over on long.
I think it's just slightly missed the mark.
Yes. So pop flash over towards short. Rooster going to dedicate their forces on long this time around and attempt to take that space. They are slowly clearing it out. Doesn't look like there's anyone here from Mindfreak as far as they're concerned. But in the meanwhile, Mindfreak quite nicely doing much the same thing into middle. It's kind of contact plays on both sides. Both teams taking a bit of space. Mindfreak having now taken middle is going to mean that B bomb site is really under pressure when you consider where the A players are set up now. It's a long rotate to get across to B. You almost cannot get across to B as a rotator right now for Rooster, considering you've lost complete control of mid. So this round, relying on those two B defenders.
I like ASAP's position, and he hears that Molly pinned from close up. Terry drawing attention away, and the B-site defense works phenomenally. Only one member lost, and Cairo, he's got a big job ahead of him. Bomb on the ground. I don't know if that one was actually communicated to the rest of Rooster, because it's a slower rotate across. Cairo on 13 points of health is going to find another headshot, but that time has ticked the whole way down and he's gone to the grave afterwards, which is no good for that T economy.
No, certainly not. Yeah, really nice hold from ASAP and Terry. It was all on those two to hit their shots, and they were able to do so, importantly, without an initial loss, right? It's kind of a done round there if you lose the first player, but the fact that they both win their opening duel is essentially what's allowed them to hold on to that round. So good solid work from them. Mindfreak maybe getting a little bit disappointed with the proceedings, but then Chell just decides to do that and dies in mid without any support. And all of a sudden, this starts to become a bit more of a winnable round for Mindfreak, where they can get right back on the horse.
Mid smoke coming out. HE placement. Not as good as the shots. Oh, TJ hungry for a couple of eco frags after hearing those deagles ringing true, but Swerzian around the corner. He's going to keep this at 2 apiece. Bomb going to start to make its way up short. Late, Terry getting all the info. Oh, and a lovely couple of shots with the flick around. You love to see it. Beautifully managed by Terry from CT. And that's going to be 3 on the board for Rooster, although Mindfreak keeping us guessing for a second.
Yeah, didn't really love that round from Rooster, to be honest, but they don't get punished for it. Shout out to Terry one time. But he's still in a bit of a spot of bother for Mindfreak, so they're going to have to take a half bite here. Their half is really kind of fallen apart a little bit off the back of this string of rounds that Rooster have been able to get. Chell changing up his position over toward long. That'll be smoked off. Instant response from Rooster. Molly into long doors, and TJP pushing out onto short. Finds himself an opening duel that he's going to be able to win, and Rooster working hard to get back in control of this map, and it does seem like they are doing that.
Smoke fading. And a lot of noise being made by Mindfreak up short. Chell posted from afar with the AVP. And arguably, he's going to be watching that smoke after what happened a few rounds ago. Mindfreak respecting the smoke this time. Looking to go for a later pump. A couple of flashes to make their way through. We'll see where they get popped.
Ooh. Nice counter util here from Rooster. First nade, a good one. Second nade, a great one. And TJP dishing out some misery on the heads of Mindfreak. A couple of good kills in there so far for Rooster. Not the cleanest of defenses, certainly. Could have been maybe one more gun alive here for Rooster, but as long as they keep 3 up, they're happy with that. That's overall a really nice response to the attempt that Mindfreak makes. And yeah, I mean, all the bark has kind of, all the bite has gone out of Mindfreak, I should say. It's like all bark, no bite now. Like they win those sort of first 5 rounds super cleanly, and they look really good doing it. And then all of a sudden, it's like a switch flips, and now it's Rooster that know exactly what Mindfreak's doing and exactly the response that they need to make, and the individuals are coming online. So slow start certainly for Rooster, but they are definitely looking like the team that's going to walk away with an advantage out of this half, if not at least an equalizing 6-6 scoreline, which I think would be pretty good given the circumstances.
Chell. Eco's just waiting around the corner, but solid discipline from most of Mindfreak to wait for that mid-doors smoke. Missed opportunity at the opening. And the group up short. Maybe able to punish Misery for being solo there towards site, although you can see TJ's now repositioning. I think he was just trying to get his mitts on that other smoke left in CT. Oh.
Yep. And again, it's almost like Rooster have a really good read on the game right here. I mean, perfectly timed peek from Terry. But by the way, TJP and Slimy both going down up on A for whatever reason is a problem. They've just kind of walked through the smoke there, I guess, at Mindfreak. And that has caught Rooster off guard. I was going to say, you know, timing great on the smoke. TJ had an 8 in hand. It looked like it was going to be another easy, free kind of A-hold. And now, bit of work done on the retake attempt. The analyst, once again, he's done the math, and he's got the trajectory of that grenade perfect, but still the round is not going to be over and done with just yet. Tuck's trying to cause a bit of a ruckus, trying to grab himself a gun there. I think he's given up his life with the tick on that Molotov, and Rooster will be able to save the day once again. It's ASAP and Terry who do seem to be the driving force behind the CT side at the moment. The two B players getting the job done.
Yeah, lovely utility. All the way through on the retake there. Flashes included. And we're all tied up. So what once looked like to be the start of a very one-sided affair has turned on its head. Rooster broke that economy and have made it that much more difficult for Mindfreak to find a few more rounds towards the end of this first half. 2 more to play. Flashes through towards long, but Rooster, they are not contesting this time. More interested over towards mid, and Terry's making a bit of a play in through lower. Might be able to catch Swerzian from behind.
Oh, it's going to go the other way. Was that a little bit of a laboured spray, I think, from Swerzian. Terry survived a little longer than he expected to, and might have had a chance if he hit an initial headshot, but not going to be the case this time around. So Rooster will be scrambling for a bit of that map territory back, and that's why TJP's decided he wants to walk his way up mid. Not going to work out for him. Will lose his life, and with that, probably the round done and dusted. So more aggressive, proactive move from Rooster has not panned out.
Lead maintained by Mindfreak, though. We'll see if they can edge towards a 7th. But yeah, Rooster, they have money to buy into the next. They got 8k on Chill, 8k on Sap. But it doesn't look like they're super interested. Chill, happy to take the aggressive fight with Swerzian, and surely you go for it. Come on, you got time, you got money.
Yeah, you do have time, but the problem is these two Rooster players, these other two guys are so far away because they were pushing out of long that you're not really going to be in a position to actually make something happen. That flash over the top might make Mindfreak think that there is some kind of retake happening on B.
They're so far away.
That will not be the case. That's some good damage.
Yeah, a bit of suffocation to that T economy. But again, there was what, like a K in a few of the players' banks, and with a round win, you're right as rain on the T side to go for the full reinvestment. Yeah, no financial woes for Mindfreak and Rooster. They had a sniff. Chell finally started to get a little bit more activated. You know, D2 is a place where you'd expect him to have some more kind of impact, and Sat analysing that a double AWP seems to be what could be the difference maker.
I don't know that they necessarily needed to lean into a double AWP, but they're going to go for it. Ironically, both of the AWPers standing in mid at the moment as well, so just trying to set up the firing squad, I guess. It is ASAP that's going to sit on that short line. Chell rotates off. But inevitably opting to give up middle. Work their way back over towards the B side. And that's going to be a mistake. The jump up from ASAP punished by Tux, which leaves Terry alone. He's going to have to now start to dump some util early in the round. Mindfreak will be happy with that. Prog smoke out here from Tux as well to put further pressure on Terry, who is going to creep up behind it. Crunchy's going to try and walk through it. And that's a really nice response from Terry. Well played. Brings it back to the 4-on-4.
Creep out mid. TJ in a power position to deal with this, and it's not the good smoke, which means it's a better position for TJ, but Zoom going to be able to lock onto him through that smoke. Terry, with the attention drawn away from him, is able to power up at window, shadow scene, and we got 6 apiece at the half.
Back on into it for the second half here after what was a bit of a tumultuous kind of up and down first half here. Really, it was 5 on the trot from Mindfreak, then 5 on the trot from Rooster, and we ended up at a 6-6 scoreline. Neither team really walking away too disappointed, although given a pretty good start, I think Mindfreak would have liked a little bit more out of that half. See what they can do here on the CT side. CT pistol, going to be a big one. If Mindfreak want to walk away with a win on this first map.
We'll see what changes here in the second half. So far, a bit of a slower start for both sides. Rooster just putting all eyes on mid. Expecting maybe some kind of pressure towards upper tunnels. And Mindfreak, they're letting Tux do the searching here, although there are eyes on his position towards mid. But that USP just packs a bit more power at range.
Yeah, well, Chell didn't hit a shot either, so that'll do it too.
True.
Slimy gonna hit his straight into the head of Swersy, and that's gonna be the B side that may start to collapse. There's a player at the back side that has been dealt with in the end, and so Rooster, they do play the game of scissors paper rock correctly, and they choose the site that they are able to barrel over, even despite it being a 4-on-3. That's a good flash in from Tux, but not enough to win the round. Now into a 2-on-1. He's out into the site, and a great pistol round from Tux, but it's not enough. He got the kill or two and the flash assist, but Rooster walk away with the victory, and they continue on their merry way to a map 1 win.
Not a bad shout so far. Let's see if they can get ahead with that pistol. Looks like Mindfreak are not going to invest here. Not in the slightest. Only Swerzian with the deagle. So he's going to back himself somewhat. That should be 3 players all taking contact at long. Swerzian with the Deegan pit just baiting. Not too bad.
Triple player set up on long. See if these flashes hit from Chell. If they don't, maybe ASAP gets his head knocked off. 4 players. This actually could be big for Mindfreak. If their timing is right, and if they hit their shots, could do a bit of damage, but not quite being able to take the fight together. And so it ends up kind of being 1 by 1 by 1. There were numbers there for Rooster that was able to clean that up pretty comfortably in the end. So T-side going pretty swimmingly thus far for the Cox. 8-6. But first gun round to come from Mindfreak.
Crispy couple of shots just to deal with those pistolas. Get to watch it all again thanks to the Intel replay. And moving into the 15th. What will we get from Mindfreak, who have the guns online? Only 2 players playing towards long and not committing either, just dropping their incend and leaving the vicinity. Tux already with upper dark control. And it seems that Terry is aware of the push. Keeping him at arm's length. Who's going to make the first move? Terry seems to be the one to do it, but looks the wrong way. And the off angle a bit too strong for Mindfreak this time.
Yeah, Rooster were able to recover from a 4-on-5 deficit though in the pistol, and they're going to try and do it again here. Pyro is even spotted. Well, it looks like Swerzian's going to help him out either way, and Rooster struggling to work their way up short. It was not info on Cairo apparently, and so Mindfreak comfortably going to win themselves that round. And I think we're really going to have a game that goes the distance here. It does feel like both teams kind of just battering their heads against one another.
What do we have for the 16th? Okay, buys on both sides of the field. Couple of AKs just to increase that firepower for Mindfreak. And Rooster all grouped up towards upper tunnels. Good util to go for a double pump if they need to. But if they go sooner rather than later, Tux is there for a fast rotation, and Swerzian has now joined the fray. But it might need to be that double pump.
It's definitely not going to be. Rooster Going to try and work their way elsewhere around the map. The problem is they don't have any control here at all. They don't know if there's been a push out long, a push out short. There could be someone sitting in mid. So it's going to take Rooster quite a lot of time to clear out all of this territory, and that's the job of ASAP you can see at the moment. Just making sure that if there is a long push, that the rest of Rooster are going to be covered from that. They try to take this mid control. That's a mid to B smoke coming out, plus a prog smoke out of the tunnel. So Rooster really indicating to Mindfreak that they do want to go B here, but info's kind of given that that may not end up being the case with those players still kind of floating around in mid, not actually committing to it. You got to walk up out on short. I think the only way that Mindfreak win this round, or rather Rooster win this round, is if TJP can get a bit of work done here walking out short. That's surely going to be the only way that this works. But they are really leaving this timer down, and that's a nicely timed insend from Zune. Misery777 on his own, trying to work his way forward, and Rooster have to tank a lot of damage going through that molly. They are going to be allowed a bomb plant, but a 4-on-3 post plant here, I don't have a lot of faith in Rooster. They don't have the map control, they don't have the util. The HP is quite low. They're going to have to just come up with some really crazy shots, and so far, not finding any, which is going to mean that Mindfreak will start to encroach in upon their position. TJP for one. Now a second. Starts to make it look doable, but overstays his welcome, and Mindfreak will claim their next round on the CT side.
I think, look, Rooster doing a great job to at least get that plant down. But that is all they'll get. It warrants a couple of upgraded pistols if they want. But you still want to be buying into the next. You don't want Mindfreak to stack on too many rounds. Are playing too risky. Mindfreak sending 3 towards long this time. Rooster, a more passive approach, just trying to feel it out with the Deagles.
Yeah, it hasn't exactly been the half that Rooster would have wanted. They started it nicely, but gun rounds have just fallen flat. Some economic damage in this round would be quite useful for them, though. Mindfreak haven't really built that CT economy up just yet, so that's why they've invested a little bit in the pistols. Nice work from Tux, though, with the orb. Really making a mistake.
Being at the ready, wants a little more. Swerzian going for the jumping shot approach. And won't be allowed to make his way up on the new box. Hard crossfire from short. And Gandalf and Slimy is just committed to waiting for this jump up. Dodge the flash, but won't hit the shots he needs to. And it's a clean retake one more time. Coming through from Mindfreak there.
Yeah, solid stuff. 9-8. Slowly but surely, Mindfreak regaining control of this match. They kind of had a little bit of a fumble towards the back end of that first half, but the CT side is starting to look pretty good. Is it the CT side that's looking good, or is it the T side that's looking average? I think it's a bit of both, actually. You know, CT side for Rooster, they kind of got away with a fair bit off the back of, you know, maybe someone like Terry having some pretty good rounds here and there. But at the moment, it's just not really feeling like Rooster are putting everything into this contest.
Yeah, it's not looking like the Rooster that we know.
No, yeah, a lot of these rounds are kind of just like falling flat on their face. You know, one player dies early or something like that, and it's like, well, that's the round over at that point. So unless Rooster are getting the opening picks, don't have a huge amount of faith that they're going to be able to do it on this T side. It has not been an impressive T side so far. Pyro out the long doors, was flashed out there by Tux, but ASAP waiting patiently for that. So the opening pick goes the way of Rooster. Now they should be expecting a bit of aggression elsewhere. And Slimy is going to wait for Crunchy. There's an easy kill for him. It's a much better round from Rooster, but you almost look at this one as maybe Mindfreak have kind of given that over to Rooster, as opposed to Rooster actually doing anything to gain that round themselves, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense, mate. Well, no real way back into this one for Mindfreak. It is just save territory. And Rooster keeping it even. Well, red situation, as you mentioned, you know, during the mid-round, you lose a little bit of map control. Someone's got to kind of push for info somewhere else. And Rooster were ready, waiting, open arms, expecting the trap. And it's going to be a slow old save for both Tux and Zune here. There's not a lot of money in the bank, so Rooster probably just going to worry about their own finances rather than go for the hunt. And you can see that's why they're not really moving. And all just exiting together.
Nice map getting relatively close, though, towards, you know, that 10-10, 11-11 kind of scoreline. And that is where the money's going to start to become a bit more of a factor here for Mindfreak as well. I feel like we've kind of just been waltzing our way through this map, not really too concerned about anything because there's still a lot of time in the half. But as this gets a little bit tighter, if we're going to continue to sort of go these 1-1, 2-2, 2-1 kind of trades in terms of rounds back and forth, you know, loss bonus is still going to be pretty low, 1900 on either side. Couple of rounds time, Mindfreak might find themselves in a bit of a spot of bother with the economic position they've got themselves in. So again, important for them to just hold on to another round or two here and do it comfortably as well. Otherwise, it's almost like Rooster may just by default win this. See how they gamble with their economy. They have invested quite a bit in this round. That double up setup, not going to work out as ASAP somehow deals with Swerzy, and that's just a missed shot that's been punished. Terry will fall to the molly, and Zune's going to aggress into middle as well. Getting the kill onto Chell. So it's kind of just fallen apart there for Rooster. That re-aggression that they were not expecting from Mindfreak. Leaves them in a 2-on-4.
Bomb at least retrievable. And with how the CTs are playing this, you could potentially still maybe pick Crunchy. Or if you go through mid instead and you don't find him. You got Tux who's on that line now. Mid B smokes just to feign that extra bit of pressure. Tux breaking it to make sure no one was lurking forward. And Zune forced down in the CT. Pretty solid setup from the ramp and double CT areas, but that Molly's going to dislodge a couple of individuals. Beautiful timing on the peak, though. Is more than Cairo could have asked for. And Mindfreak will edge back into the lead, 10-9, trading rounds back and forth and back again.
Oh, now it's Rooster who may be having those economic problems and woes after this round. We'll see how this one ends up playing out, but a 2.4 loss bonus with pretty much 0 in the bank. It's not a comfortable place to be for Rooster.
No, not at all.
Is it a fast long hit? No, the molly's going to come through from Mindfreak. That'll slow them down. Flashes over the top, though, and that's a really nice flash that's caught Cairo. Seems to have caught Zune as well as he's trying to just back off. Rooster, though, getting a bit too eager to take the fight, will walk into the AWP of Tux, which has been a massive thorn in their side this half. He was 10-12 at one point. Now he's gone up to 16-12, so it's definitely accelerated with the AWP in hand. That is some map territory gain for Rooster, but tenuously at best.
Well, they know where the AWP is.
They're just going to challenge it? They're just going to stand on long and take the fight with the AWP and hope that Tux misses?
They're thinking about it.
Surely you're not. What is this? Okay, multi-swing at least. That's better from Rooster instead of just Chell kind of like shouldering that corner alone. Was kind of scaring me. Slimy does get Zune as well. Rooster have locked back in for this round, but they've still got to deal with Swerzian, who's avoided that flash nicely and dancing around the smoke. Could have got something done. Not this time. 10-10. It's another twist and another turn in this game. The chapters continue, and Rooster will equalize and again put Mindfreak in an awkward monetary position. They're going to buy down to 0.
Swerzian making a nice move towards lower, but that molly makes it very awkward. I think Terry heard the burning boots. And we'll lock onto that lower control. Zune in an odd position, but ASAP spots him falling away. And there should be a Rooster around every day of the week from the position they're currently in.
Bad news here for Mindfreak for sure. I mean, this round unlikely to present a whole lot. That's going to have Rooster with their noses in front for the first time. Rooster really wanting to make sure they cross the T's and dot the I's. They don't want to throw this round away, which is good to see. Slowly but surely it's falling into place. They don't know exactly where these last 2 remaining CTs are, but TJP spotting one and the other has a couple of shots in his direction, so that'll be that. 11 to 10.
Not too bad at all. Back in the lead they go. But Mindfreak again just buying up everything they can to try and stop Rooster from getting the match point. Tucks with the cover at mid, allows Swerzian to go aggressive at lowers one more time. But Mindfreak have done this so often. You can see Rooster are heavily expecting the upper crunch. Maybe not expecting Crunchy to come from that B side. Oh, the timing might just be enough to do it. The 2-for-1 trade not coming through. Slimy stands tall for himself, but won't be able to take down Tux, the third man there towards the B side of the map. And Rooster know that A site has to be slightly weakened now, surely.
Ooh. It's a good hold though from Cairo so far. That grenade's just going to slow things down and it'll allow Zune to come back across and reinforce. He's even put himself a smoke and Zune's won the duel against Chell. This is all on TJP in a 1v3. He's got to retrieve that C4. He does know there's a player in pit. He's got no idea exactly where Tux is, but presuming that obviously he'll be coming across from the B side, he'll set up on long and establish a crossfire. So TJ just going to try and cut him off here. I mean, he does have time to exit and go B if he wants, but he's hoping for the mistake to come through, and he was going to get it. He just missed that shot, and Tux will get the better of him. So 11-11 as we creep closer to an overtime.
Anyone's game.
It is. But this round is a big one, right? Money really, really poor for Mindfreak. So if they do lose this 1,400 loss bonus, they are not going to have a bye next round. Rooster have a little bit more to play with.
Definitely a rough position to be in. The swingiest of swing rounds. And Chell is hungry. That scope cranking. Oh. I don't think he spotted him over the top. Mindfreak again, heavy towards that B site. Pyro tucked away in the corner. Happy just to maybe play retake at long. And Flames getting tossed both ways just to try and lock onto some short control. Rooster not wanting to make a mistake, but they have to be the ones to make a move here on the T side.
I mean, this would be a good move, just to walk up into the A site. You could literally contact play your way to a bomb plan and have a lot of util for the post plan. Obviously, they're not to know that necessarily. They probably will toss a couple of pieces of util on their way into A. But it's just tucks that they have to get past. Only one player. He doesn't have any delaying util. He's only got that AWP in hand, and he has been good with the AWP, no doubt. But this is actually quite a solid choice being made by Rooster. The flash will force tucks away. They have managed to make it to the site without loss. They'll be able to get that bomb plant down. So first piece of the puzzle falling into place. The issue is Rooster used almost all of that util to get into the site. They don't have any delaying util at all, and this is where the retake is actually going to be able to come online. Tux is getting so much work done with the AWP. And all of a sudden, this round starting to slip away from Rooster. ASAP will have to come up big alongside Terry. Again, it was those two on the CT side that were getting it done. They might be able to do it again here. ASAP ducks his head down, time ticking away. Up on the trash pile, Terry gets the kill, and now time a factor, certainly, as they have to jump on that bomb. Defuse, unbelievably, not going to happen because they don't have a kit. Terry's won the round. Rooster have won the round.
The kit was on jumper, was on the new box. And Terry, by stopping whoever that was that jumped up at new box here, is that Swerzian? Yeah, right there. Just didn't get either of the kills, didn't make it that much easier for them. But dropping that kit, a very unfortunate way to lose that round. Everyone dies and the financial situation is no better this round. You mentioned it, Jordan. There's a screw all round loss bonus for Mindfreak moving into this now. But there's really not that much more for Rooster to buy in. Fortunately, on the T side, you only need about that 4K margin to get some extra util on the board. And I know which buy I'd prefer to have right now.
Which one's that, Mac?
The left one.
A bit of a scout fan?
Yeah.
I know it.
Tag and bag. Best strategy on D2, mate. That being said, I have been very impressed still so far by Mindfreak's performance here on D2. And it's not over till the fat lady sings. You can see Tux cooking up a plant. Just trying to figure out exactly what they need to do. They did a lot of homework coming into this one. And you want to be winning it, you know? So for the OCE Cups here for Challenger now, right?
Yes.
Is it a point-based system? And when you get the most amount of points you could possibly get, you qualify for Pro League?
No. So
No.
my understanding, and unless something has changed, I don't believe anything has changed. The way it works is there's 4 cups per region.
Right.
And of those 4 cups, the winner will then qualify to an overall finals cup, if you will, right? So there's 4 cups. Winner goes into a 4-team final bracket, and winner of that goes to ESL Pro League. However, if there's a world where, for example, let's say Semperfi and Rooster win 2 cups each, as far as I believe, they will be the only 2 teams that would then play off for a slot. If there was a world where Semperfi would win all 4 cups, they just automatically take the slot. If it's like a 3-1 split, so let's say Rooster, Semperfi, and X-Talon win 1 each, or maybe Semperfi wins 2, X-Talon wins 1, and Rooster wins 1, then I believe it will still be a 4-team bracket. They'll just pull a second place team from somewhere. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I do believe they still run the, or maybe, no, maybe, in that case, I think it's Semperfi would get an auto win, and then Rooster and X-Talon would get to play off for the slot to play against Semperfi, if that makes sense. Like, it's just, and there's a lot of like different
variables,
yeah, potentially based on who wins what and how many things are won by certain teams. In an ideal world, you have all 4 separate teams. So you have 4 separate teams win each cup. But I think it's unlikely, particularly in these minor regions, that will happen. So there's going to be potentially a very real world where we will see, no final qualifier happen and it just goes automatically to one team that kind of won all the cups or who knows what. But yeah, anyway, we have a tech timeout here, or a tech timeout, I should say.
Worst time to have it too. Not that either team really had much momentum going, let's be real. Back and forth all game so far. Well, for the second half.
Do we have any info on what this is? Just a connection issue for Swerzian. I got to be honest, though. How does this happen every time? It's like you get into the very last round of the map and there's always a tech. I swear there's always a tech pause at like this exact round. It's like if this map would have ended just at a normal time, we would have just been like, whatever, we never even know. But you get into 12-11 and it's tech pause time. Chell probably doesn't want to overstay his welcome here with Swerzian floating around. I mean, a scout, not the scariest of opponents in that engagement, but Chell loses his life early in the round. It's a round which Rooster could still see fall by the wayside, and obviously they'd like to close this map out 13-11, move on to their own map choice and try and pick up a 2-0.
Missed throwing smoke there. A bit of gap across the top. Maybe that's what Chell wanted. HE dishing some damage instead of the smoke break. Zune with the 5-7. Where's he going to be taking it? Swerzian with some info. Looks like some of the Rooster members were making their way up short, but it could be the mid to B now. Looks like they've looked their way through. Smoke block on short. And the posturing from Rooster is telling a tale that it should be the B site end. Good CT smoke. No CT's able to spot anything across the top, but the fade comes through and they are still none the wiser. Flash in, big entries, and there goes the B site members and probably any hope that Mindfreak had left. 3v5 for the B site retake. That sounds unwinnable, Jordan.
It does. I mean, they're smoked off in CT spawn as well. This is just going from bad to worse for Mindfreak, and it has been a decent effort from them, but Rooster proved to be just a little better today. I have to say, it wasn't exactly the greatest of games from Rooster either. I think very much across the board, both teams are going to have moments that they can look at in that game and think, we could have played that better, we could have done this better. But ultimately, 13-11 map win for Rooster does put them in a good spot here. It is a best of 3, but going into their choice of train, I think they'll be feeling pretty comfortable about things. A bit of a grind to get over Dust 2, but train should be a bit of a different story, and I think Rooster should comfortably walk away with this BO3 now.
Yeah, I'm keen to see, what both teams have for us, especially with a little bit of train coming up around the bend. But alas, to get to that, we've got to go to a short break. So we'll see you just after this for a bit of train.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till something changed inside of me. Now I'm flying over oceans. Everybody looking at me. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Full power, get louder. I'ma get stronger, just watch me. Full power, get louder. I'ma get stronger, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. Gonna hear my song, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. I can run this town. Somebody give me the key. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. No more doubt about me. Oh, I can run this town. Don't you know I got the
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes. And you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
Right, here we are, ready for map number 2. In just a second, we'll be heading in onto Train. That is the map choice of Rooster. It was a bit of a back and forth game of Dust 2. I don't think either team really walks away from it too enthused, but it was a 13-11 win for Rooster, so they do have the chance to crack this BO3 with a 2-0 tonight. I imagine that they should be doing that they are going onto their own map pick, but Mindfreak have been good enough tonight to certainly challenge Rooster.
Yeah, that first map was a bit more, way closer than I guess I thought it was going to be coming into this matchup today. You know, Rooster, we hold them in a very high regard in comparison to a lot of the other teams. You know, there are some names there on Mindfreak that are also held in a high regard, but then there's also just the unknown, and it's the unknown that I guess all eyes are on in situations like this, and they've been proving to be, you know, relatively impressive. So we'll continue to reserve our judgment because we don't know what a team like Mindfreak can do on a map like Train, because, you know, they get to start on the CT side. I'm arguing they're going to start on the CT side. You know, they get that choice, and the CT side is popping off at this level of gameplay all over the world at the moment. You know, not necessarily in my pugs. Feels like people just do more on the T side, but we aren't playing pugs here, Jordan. We're playing big old professional OCE Counter-Strike, and that's what we all love. So
yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the CT side, not just even on Train, I think in general, it's been a nice shift toward the CT side across pretty much the entire map pool. All of the maps have become a little bit more CT-sided just because of that economy change. And then you look at the more CT-sided maps in general, obviously being actually a conversation point now, as opposed to maybe what we would have gotten previously, where it sort of felt like, oh, like literally every map is pretty much T-sided, bar maybe, you know, Train or Overpass or something. Now we're definitely in a world where we've kind of gone back in time a little bit. You know, most maps are leaning CT side, actually. There are a couple of outliers, obviously your Dust 2s and, you know, maybe your Infernos. You can get a little bit of work done on Ancient. You can definitely get a bit of work done on the T side. But apart from that, you know, Mirage, Nuke, Overpass, Train, all looking pretty heavily CT-sided at the moment. Whether that changes, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I can only imagine it's going to get more CT-sided rather than less CT-sided. And Train being, at least by the numbers, the statistically most CT-sided map, it is a pertinent point, Mac, that Mindfreak do get to start on CT side. So we'll be hoping to see them pick up probably, you know, 7 or 8 rounds on this CT side if they want to be competitive. But then again, it's Rooster's map pick, and I think they'll have something to show us on this T side. Instant smoke into the A side here, and a quick rush in from Rooster as well with those pistols in hand. It's worked out nicely. Flashes over the top from ASAP, and it's a pretty well drilled looking T pistol there from Rooster. There was no ifs or buts about it.
Blink and you'll miss it. What was that? That was like a less than 20-second round. 18 seconds. Speed running it, trying to make up for lost time with a very long first affair over on D2. But looks like there might be some kind of technical issues because we are going straight into a Spores. But at least this time, it's nice and early in the game, not on the final round.
So
yeah, Swerzian still trying to sort out the net. What time's it there? 8:30?
Yep. Give or take, depending on where he lives.
I guess the sisters uploading Snapchats, you know, all that, making the internet go crazy. One of the craziest things to me, I think, especially with people playing at this level, is a lot of them don't realize that you should just be rocking an Ethernet cable. Like mum and dad, you know, don't like the cable running through the house. Say, hey, there's money on the line. There's trips to Europe on the line here. Like, let me run a cable.
Yeah.
And the game will just feel so much better. I don't understand why people don't know these things.
I do remember that. Like when I used to play at home, when I was, in my teens, early 20s, used to play a bit of Team Fortress 2 competitively. And everyone used to hate playing against me because my lag would have me like just warping around the screen all the time. So yeah, it's just one of those things that you don't know if you don't know, and maybe you don't have the power in the household to say, yeah, I've got to run an Ethernet cable. But obviously back then we were on like ADSL 2 or something like that, so it was a bit more egregious. But yeah, my house has got one of those things where you plug it into the wall. It's got like wall sockets next to the NBN box.
Oh, bro, my dad got his house renovated recently, and when I got there, I was like, "You didn't happen to, do this, did you?" And he's like, "Oh no, I didn't think about it." And I was like, "Oh, would have been nice. That would have been a nice little." You don't realize it's that nice until you have it.
It's so nice. Yeah, it's just.
We had it at my house in Lidcombe, the apartment I lived in. There was like the little Ethernet ports in the walls.
Yep.
They didn't work. So whoever,
that's the worst.
Yeah, that was horrible. I was like, well, what's the point? But look, when they work, which I'm sure yours are probably working,
Mine works. Otherwise, I would not be talking to you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't sort out another way of the internet.
Well, true.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know what I would have done actually, because the NVN box is in the garage, which is downstairs, and then I would have had to have run a cable like all the way from the garage through the living room up the stairs into my workroom. Like it just would not have been cool. I think you can get that Ethernet over power nowadays, where you can like put it into the electricity port as well. It's probably what I would have done, but it would have still been messier for sure.
That I guess at your place it probably would have been fine. I remember I had that at a share house that I lived in,
Right.
And whenever someone would use the dishwasher, which lasts a while, internet would go crazy, and whenever housemates would use the microwave, because that's obviously a big power spike, it would just lag the game out for the time that the microwave was on.
Oh, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I had to figure it out because I was like, why am I disconnecting? I'd go downstairs and someone would be like cooking up scrambled eggs in the microwave, the bloody degenerates. If you still do that, by the way, just learn to use a pan. Pretty please. It tastes so much better.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone ever cook scrambled eggs in a microwave. That sounds horrible.
It's full on
you
like
get on a plane.
university spec. Like someone hasn't actually lived out of house, out of home yet, and haven't learned to cook.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I mean, I can't stand their airplane eggs, and I imagine that's what it comes out like. So I'll just give that one.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we are going to take a little bit of a break here. We've got the tech issues in the server, so no use really sitting here talking about eggs. We'll take a break, and then we'll be back when the match is ready to kick back off. So see you soon, hopefully.
I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown.
All right, luckily it wasn't a very long pause as we get back into round number 2. It was Rooster that picked up the pistol, so Mindfreak don't have a whole lot to play with. I imagine Rooster's going to be getting off to a good start on this T side.
Oh, yeah. Almost. Cheeky bit of damage sent back there with the USPs. And Mindfreak just staying at range. Wait, is that?
Is that rain?
No, Swerzian must have timed out, right? Look where he died. I was like, how has he died? I was like, who could have killed him there? But no, I think he's timed out, which is probably going to mean might be on for another
pause.
technical after this one. So hold your horses, guys.
Lovely online esports. The Aussie land can't come soon enough, I'll say. 2-0 for Rooster. Let's see if we do, in fact, get a pause out here from Mindfreak. And they've only got 4 in the server, so yeah, that's looking like it's going to happen. Again. Might have to start thinking about a replacement player at this point. You know, you can't just be running around with someone disconnecting every round or two. I don't know if they've got someone that they can use, a coach or a stand-in.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. Mindfreak have historically always had a coach. I don't know who their current one is or would be, but I guess we can... actually, it's probably on Wikipedia.
That's what I'm having a look at right now.
He's one step ahead.
Doesn't say that they have a coach.
Twitch chat might be faster. Guys, you're 2 minutes behind, all right? Let us know if Mindfreak have a coach that they could play with or even have a sub. Because for a little while there, I know that Crunchy was the sub, and last time I watched Mindfreak play, he was just filling in for someone last minute, but then looks like he's still here. So must have impressed someone. We got surely MJ or Big Eduardo in the chat know something.
I don't know anything at this point, Mac. All I know is
that Swerzian needs a new
pain.
connection.
All I know is pain. Yes, that too.
Yeah.
Well, guys, the information that we're receiving is that there's not a lot of information, actually. We don't have an ETA for when this one's going to come back, whether or not there's going to be a substitution or anything like that. So we may just take another break here. Hopefully it'll be a short one. Hopefully we'll be back into the game soon. See you on the other side. Rightio, welcome back on in. It seems like Swerzian is here. So we will get to see how this round plays out for Mindfreak, but there's been a couple of disconnection issues on his behalf a couple of times, so we'll see how long that lasts as we jump into the first gun round of the map. And it's a patient approach from Rooster. They dropped the sandwich smoke Mac, but they haven't really done much with it, so just trying to maybe draw out a bit of CT util on the A site, which is not a bad shout. Mindfreak don't have much of it left.
Ooh, can they manage to make this one work here? TJ, does he expect the aggression from Swerzian? Being far forward. Oh,
he's lagging.
The lag.
He's lagging like crazy. He was just... he had no idea what he was shooting. Oh, that's so sad. It's just, I mean, I tell you what, the orange crate's not feeling too good after that one, but nice try, Swerzian. Better luck next time, buddy. They do know at least that there is some control in T-Con for Rooster, but that would be expected. Now it's onto Cairo. Off angle, should be traded down, is by Chell, who just comes floating across for that headshot. Or back into a pretty favorable looking situation here for Rooster. Zune, last standing on A, and easily cleaned up by Rooster. And I think we're going to keep... keep rolling through here, because as far as I've been told, Mindfreak now just have to keep playing. They've used up their tack times or their tech times and whatnot, and they just have to keep playing here. Unfortunately, they don't have a sub on the roster, so for the rounds that Swerzian is not connected, they're going to have to play it out 4v5, which obviously is not likely to end very well for them, so could be a bit of a freebie here for Rooster, and pretty unfortunate result, obviously, for Mindfreak down in this lower bracket, but see how it plays out. See if Mindfreak can do anything.
At range, it's easy pickings for Slime. E, let's see what he's going to be able to do from here. A site taken by the rest of the Rooster boys. Bomb going to be transported towards the site. And Mindfreak probably just looking for some form of exits. Some form of chance to take a gun across to the next. And that's if they're allowed. At this point, I feel like the Rooster boys, especially knowing it's a eco round, are all just going to be hunting for a couple of extra points. Extra kill in the tally. That'll be that. Slimy. Big eco round. 3 of the 4 kills. If someone gets all 4, does the game think it's an ace still? I can't remember.
That I would not know. I wouldn't imagine so. Oh, you got another pause here? So, not sure what's going on in this particular instance. But, yeah. Well, we've got a Rooster pause now. So, this might be the world's slowest map of train. This is like the train's delayed, you know?
Yeah, it's Sydney. Classic. What are Brizzy trains like? Do they run on time?
I don't.
Do you ever use them?
I don't really use them that often. But the times that I have used them, they have been on time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really up to date with it, to be honest.
Who's from Brisbane and has used the train more than just like one time? Let us know.
I think since moving back to Brisbane, which was 12 months ago, even more than 12 months ago, I've probably used the train 4 or 5 times.
Public transport's underrated.
Oh, 100%. I'm a big fan. It's just I don't go anywhere, so.
Yeah. Before I moved over to Europe, I was using it pretty regularly in Sydney. You know, it is quite useful, especially when you want to get to the city, because if you're driving there, like driving is faster sometimes, but you got to pay the tolls for the faster routes, and then you've also got to pay generally through the nose to pay for parking and stuff. But if you get the train and the bus, boom, you're laughing. I think the only problem for me with Sydney trains is if you go out and see your friends, have a nice night out, then the last train's at like 1 a.m. or 12:30, then you're like, well, there goes the night. Got to be a responsible adult. Go home early. It's the problem with being a gamer, Jordan.
Right.
Is sometimes the gamer clock is different to the world clock.
That is very true. I've been up until 3 or 4 a.m. the last few days, coming back from EWC. The time zone has me well cooked. But you'd probably rather be well cooked rather than undercooked, I suppose.
We got this into an APAC game as well. So it's like on paper, it can be like a 6 or 7 hour work day. But the day for you starts at what, like 6 p.m., 7 p.m.? When did this game start?
7 p.m. Yeah.
There you go. The more you know.
Yeah, we'll see how that next game goes. Rare Adam versus Lin Vision up next after this. So it could be a pretty interesting game. I would imagine maybe a little bit more interesting than this one, which is a 4-on-5, unfortunately. And kind of feels like we're just going through the motions at the moment here. Really just sort of waiting for Rooster to lock this game in. Tux has gone down early on in the piece, trying to get aggressive into T-Con. I suppose like if you're playing 4-on-5, you don't really have many options but to try and play aggressively on the CT side. Like I don't think you're going to be able to hold space and territory as well. Obviously, with a 4-on-5, you're not going to be having the availability of the grenades. You're not going to have players to cover the angles. So you may as well try and do something a little bit, you know, aggressive. See if you can isolate a fight or two early on in the piece in any given round and try to win rounds that way. So I don't mind the attempt from Tux. Obviously, it didn't work out. Now they know Cairo is low, but Zoon's doing a bit of work here. He should be picked up by ASAP, and even despite all these kills that Mindfreak are getting, this is still going to be a winnable round for Rooster. That numbers deficit definitely hurting Mindfreak here. This could be a 3-on-1, but we'll see what Simon can do in the 2-on-1 instead. Spots out Zoon and gets deleted. Nice sharp shot from him. Mindfreak find their first on the CT side.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, could be worse.
Might be seeing that 13-0. Not this time. We'll see how much more Mindfreak can get done. Surely that one is going to be decent for the confidence. 3v5 in the bag. Good time on the rotations. B-site retake looking red hot for Mindfreak. And Rooster, still plenty of cash from the prior rounds. Let's see what we got moving into the 6th. Heavier presence towards the A site. 3 members coming this direction. Pumping that T-Con util, just making sure that Rooster can't go for a fast approach towards the A site, but it's the B site that Tux is interested in and gets one. Which is not the worst case scenario, but just wasn't quite expecting Zoon so close. What, Zoon? Sorry, Terry.
Turn it on, Terry. Saw that in the first map. He was pretty good. Big reason why Rooster was able to get it over the line. And surprisingly, it seems that Rooster are actually having a little bit of trouble getting through some of these rounds. That is a nice duel to pick up, though, for TJP, and it will swing this round pretty heftily back in their favor. Cairo on 50 HP at the back of the bomb train. Won't be too difficult to dig out. There's a couple of mollies in the back pocket here for Rooster. One of them will get tossed into connector. TJP looking for 2. Won't quite get it, but he does get 1 at least. And finds Cairo's position. So Rooster slowly going to start to make their way forward. Molly will push him out. Terry shuts it down. 5-1 for Rooster. The fun continues.
Yeah, rough position for Cairo to try to play from. Okay, where to from here? B-side aggro coming through for the CTs, and Tux with the flash. He's going incredibly loud, but Terry is it just in the nick of time. Flash forward, Zune. Tucked away at yellow. Ooh, okay. It's light work of the first man spots the second, but it's a lovely little tap from Slimy to get the job done. Cairo last alive from the back of sight. They saw him here before, and Slimy will expect him there again. Not even really using any of that util this round. For a couple of the individuals, just getting it done loud with the weaponry. And Rooster, 6 on the T side, is already well ahead of par.
Hard not to be when you're playing 4v5.
That's true, that's true.
Good opportunity, I guess, for Rooster to just dry run a few things, see if they can maybe use some of the more unorthodox strategies that they've cooked up, see how they work, if that's something that they're willing to do or interested in doing. Not too much risk in this matchup. Tux is again going to try to get aggressive. This time runs into 3 players. Cairo was doing the same thing, also going to go down. And so, not much of note really, unfortunately, for Mindfreak in this one. Zune drops. And Crunchy's holding CT spawn.
How much CS you been playing, Jordan? And have you managed to get a bit of train under your belt?
I played a lot of Train when it first got released, actually. I find I don't get to play a huge amount of Train these days. It just doesn't seem to pop up all that often. What is going on with the Crunch? He's almost surprised he's seen Terry.
Yeah.
Oh. Word.exe. Check in PC.
He did play in India for a little bit, that's all I'm saying.
Oh. Trying to deal with force. Oh, Word.exe. How did he know?
Crazy.
How did he know Slimy was coming?
Crazy. But yeah, what I was going to say, have you played it since the changes with like that new box added and stuff like that?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I like that change. I just want to say, you know, I've had 1 or 2 Face-It games on it since that change. Usually it's just so hard to even get in a veto over here if you have
that's what I'm saying.
ancient D2 Mirage that exists in your veto on Face-It. That's what you're playing.
Exactly. I think I get more Overpass than Train, frankly, which disappoints me because I'm a bit of a fan of Train, actually. I do like it. I think it's a fun map. But obviously, Mindfreak probably not having a lot of fun at the moment. TJP going to go down inside of that smoke. Rest of the map control being taken, though, by Rooster. It's not looking too bad at all.
Maybe they are having fun because at this point, like, what can you do, right? I feel like you want to keep the mental strong. You don't want to let games like this get to you. Because then, you know, if you're grumpy, you're not going to play well, Jordan. That's not what you want out of your Counter-Strike. Solid map control. You know, the T's are where the CTs were and the CTs are where the T's should be. So, in positions to play for the retake. ASAP, lucky to be alive. The bomb's going to be planted nice and open on the backside of sight, but Terry is just taking every single name he sees on his screen. 8 and 3 for him, pumping up the numbers. And 8 and 1 for Rooster.
It's definitely one of the games of all time, this one.
Yeah, it certainly is. Certainly is. But yeah, that box outside of Con is incredibly useful for the CTs. And then that new other box as well, which was added to that sort of like no man's land area in front of camera. That's incredibly useful. I've also seen it used in a couple of clutches incredibly well. You know, you're just getting up on top of yellow, changing up the positions. Nice little headshot line when you're holding over towards teammate.
You can see Rooster trying to play around this aggression that Mindfreak's bringing. They dump a lot of util at the top of the B stairs there. Chill waiting for some aggression in T-Con, but Mindfreak, I gotta say, they're actually kind of hitting their shots. You know, even though the score's 1-8, they are actually kind of troubling Rooster a little bit in these opening rounds, like in the openers to the rounds. So credit where credit's due, the fact that they're still kind of plugging away at this one. It's just unfortunate situation has led to a pretty unwinnable game for them.
Sat with the creep out, and Terry spotted as well. So info there for Mindfreak. They're going to go for a faster rotation, but Sap already in a power position to cut off said rotation. Although, has he been pin gapped? He's definitely been seen. Cairo knows he's close. The info goes back the other way. Cheeky gap for Sap to play around, and that's going to be 9 on the board. 8-round gap. And we were talking about how CT-sided this map is, so you can see just how one-sided the game will be in a perma 4v5.
Well, that's why it's so important to get those opening picks. You know, we always talk about it like, I think it's like a 70-80% conversion rate when you find the opening kill. And you're kind of getting an indication as to what it might be like. It tends to be pretty important, pretty impactful. Another aggressive attempt here from Mindfreak is going to see them run into Chelzorp. He even hits the collat there on the Tux. So just continues to go from bad to worse here for MF on the CT side. There's a creep out on B. Cairo's going to go down. That'll be where the bomb is now going to be headed because Rooster have full control of B. They saw that aggressive push out on A, and they thought, well, 2 players over here, probably just 1 player on B. And they would be proven correct. Tux picked up on the rotate in, and now Zune will do what he's going to do here. I don't know, save, try and go for a retake 1v4. Probably doesn't matter.
Give it a red hot crack. Okay. Info on 2 of the players. Looking to the corner and hoping he can work his way out. But it's slimy to snag it away. Rooster striking him down when it was necessary and looking to convert an 11-1 half. But it's not all bad, Jordan, because Mindfreak are not getting 13-0. So who's the real winner at the end of the day?
Yeah, tough day at the office for Mindfreak. That is for sure. Gonna 4-stack the A-bomb site this time around. See if that works. I feel like that's actually the strategy, right? If you're down 4 on 5 every round, you maybe just hard stack a site and hope that Rooster makes the wrong choice and walks into you. Then you might be able to win a round or 2. Even though they have 4 on 8. They have not struggled in that one. 11-1 is the first half score. We'll take a halftime break and be back for the second half in just a minute.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these restless nights, all these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll, Lex account a blue face. The whole world know my name off of mixtape.
Rightio, back on into the swing of things, and the game will continue with a 4-on-5. Mindfreak, unfortunately, down a player today because Swerzian has had some internet issues. They're having to play the game out without a sub. They don't have a stand-in on their roster, so it's looking pretty grim for them. 11-1. I'm not sure whether or not a stand-in really would have helped them because this is Rooster's map pick, but probably would have given them at least another round or two. Either way, they're going to give this T-pistol a crack, and so far a similar approach to what we saw from Rooster, although a little bit of a slower one at that. They're still going to try and pump their way out onto the A site. Rooster very well prepared for that one, hitting a few nice headshots, and that'll pretty much just be the round end, I dare say, the map. And of course, with that, the series over and done with. They are struggling to get rid of Tux, but in the end, ASAP will get it done. 12-1 is the score.
And we might not be here for too much longer, so hold your horses. Hold your breath even. It could be a quick one. We'll see if Rooster just run it straight at Mindfreak, or if it is just going to be Mindfreak holding their own. Now they have to go for the reinvestment. Sandwich smoke out. Faster approach towards red. And ASAP ready and waiting with open arms. Hop control in the hands of Sap, but Zune just around the corner. But he's not expecting the two-man setup. Challenge Sap holding strong. Cairo looking to make a solo play as well. He's fighting for himself. Ooh. Crosshair, good enough for the second shot to connect. TJP taking a lovely bit of map control in the meanwhile, shifting forward all the way in A main. Tux and Cairo. Reboost towards Brown Halls. Thinking that there may be some aggression coming on the flank. 50 on the clock. Cairo's hit the animation. He has to hit a dig now. They're the rules.
Those are the rules. He's going to have to clutch this round out with the dig, actually. Just to at least get Mindfreak a second round. Fog smoke out from Tux. Terry's going to respect that. And just watch the heaven line. Or not. But unfortunately, Cairo not able to deliver on his promise, nor is Tux, and that is 13-1. So that's the series over and done with. And thank God for that, Mac. You know, look, let's not beat around the bush. A 4v5, no one really wants to deal with that. And so thankfully, Rooster are able to 2-0 this one, and we can hope for some greener pastures when we come back for the Asia match, which is quite an interesting one. Rare Adam and Lin Vision. But end of the day, you know, the expected winner does walk away with a victory. Rooster over Mindfreak, and that is Mindfreak out of this cup of ESL Challenger League, though there are plenty more cups still yet to come in Season 50 that they can try to put on the board. Obviously, an unfortunate day. What can you really say? It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And look, Rooster are going to be continuing on forward here in the playoffs. It was a solid showing from Mindfreak to get this far, but alas, Australian internet issues unfortunately were the victor at the end of the day. It was also a good showing on Dust, as you said. 13-11 is nothing to be scoffed at, and I'm sure Rooster can maybe have a look at that one and learn a thing or two for a couple of the things that Mindfreak were making the most of, because they're going to need everything they can get moving into they've still got one more game in the lower bracket against X-Talon. Winner of that then goes on to the grand final. So yeah, it's that low path that Rooster have to capitalize on if they want a shot at winning the number 1 OCE Cup.
Yeah, indeed. Well, like we said, we will be back for Asia in about 2 hours time, so
yeah,
make sure you come back for that one. I'm sure it'll be a much better game with Lim Vision and Rare Adam taking one another on. It's actually likely to be a decent one, so we'll see you then. Have a good one, and see you in about 2 hours.
The day is ours and we seize it. Haters, man, they got reasons. Grab the moment, we freeze it. Go to the touch, oh what a rush. Follow your heart, homie, go where the love. Let it rain, let it flow, let it flood. Swimming in good vibrations, it's a celebration. It's the liberation of everything we are. Every time you in the clouds, they gon' try to bring you down. Do not let them just go ahead and get it, get it, get it, get it. Every time you in the clouds, they gon' try to bring you down. Do not let them just go ahead and get it, get it, get it, get it. I'm all in, I'm here to receive it. No limits, got to believe it. Amen, I know that you feel it. From the ashes, rise like a phoenix. I'm all in, I'm here to receive it. No limits, got to believe it. Amen, I know that you feel it. From the ashes, rise like a phoenix. Loving you is so easy. You caked up and not squeezing. We picking up all the pieces. Oh, my broken heart and we fix it. Make it better when you kiss it. We got to get it, yeah, we tipsy. We getting drunk off our loving. They talk a big game, but they bluffing. Every time you in the clouds, they gon' try to bring you down.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, Kidia, and 1xBet.